I think I'm going live on YouTube. I don't know. I don't really care. But just something, get the word out there, get more people on the team. Redirecting you to YouTube. Hey, I think I'm going live on YouTube. I guess I know. Need to turn the volume off on that. Okay. Hey, welcome YouTube viewers. I'm doing a live hangout with my New Rules team, and we're going to be answering some questions. I do this once a month. Thinking about doing it more too, maybe like twice a month. But I just wanted to share it on YouTube, see if you're if this is something you guys are interested in. We have Hutch in the house. Hutch is one of my not just coaches, but very good friends. And he even got a matching background. So our backgrounds match. So it's almost like he's right here in place of my normal co-host, neighbor Matt, who's not here right now. But anyways, we're going to get into some questions and hopefully some halfway decent answers from the team. But first, I wanted to start off, Hutch, with something I was talking to somebody about recently that after the discussion, I realized it applies to everyone. And this person I was talking to was basically not getting things done that he wanted to get done in his life and kind of move to the next level in his life. And it ends up that every man has this thing known as imposter syndrome. And it's like bred into us that when we feel like we're taking a step forward or moving in, like in our case, like teaching, like me teaching people anything, even me as a Navy SEAL teaching shooting, which is something I've done for 30 years at the top level. I still, in some part of me, when I'm talking to you guys and gals, there's a part of me that's like, man, do I really know what I'm talking about? So if that's you, if there's part of you that feels like you're trying to do something, but you're like, man, I don't know if I can do that because I feel like I'm not good enough or whatever. Just realize you are. If you know one thing more than anybody else in any area, then you're not an imposter, and everybody has something to share with the rest of the world. Nobody is better. It doesn't mean that you're better than somebody else. It just means, you are what you are. So imposter syndrome, again, if you've got this kind of feeling like whatever, it's even like going to the range. People will go to the range and kind of be afraid to shoot, or like, oh, are people watching me? Just realize all the other people on the range too are like doing the same thing. They're going, man, is that guy better than me, or is he gonna make fun of me? Whatever. Hey, it's part of being a man. So accept it, man up. Just wanted to talk about that. Hutch, welcome to the show. I sent you the questions. Did you get those?
I have the questions in hand.
Awesome. All right. How's Hutch's audio working out for everybody?
Can everybody hear me okay?
I can hear you. It's a little quiet, but then I don't know. Maybe I'm quiet too. So in the chat,
one guy says good, Jerry.
So you got a 4x4.
Whoa. All right. Well, I'm gonna roll with it.
And strength. I got a 5x5. So that means I'm better than you. Okay, you got a 5x5.
All right, now I'm on.
All right, so we're all good. How you doing?
So I'm doing awesome, man. Happy New Year.
Hey, thanks, man. Happy New Year to you.
Here we go, right? 2020 turns 21 and can drink now, so I think we're in trouble.
Yeah, well, I think 2020 was doing a lot of drinking.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
There's a sign down the street from my house that says that if 2020 was a person, it would have been a politician. So, all right. So let's get to the questions. Phil writes in, I like the last special hangout. You've always talked about health and fitness. What are, if any, major changes to what you were doing in the past, exercise, diet, etc.?
All right, so major changes. So for those of you that weren't there, the last super special extravaganza Christmas hangout was at the tail end of me going to Virginia Beach to do some training at BHP, Virginia High Performance, where it was just an awesome experience. I had coaches, doctors, therapists, trainers, chiropractor, all these people, nutritionists, all working to do whatever, the max amount of getting in shape, getting rid of pain, putting on muscle, losing fat. I put on 8 pounds of lean muscle mass. I lost 4 pounds of body fat. Anyways, it was an awesome experience, and I did learn a lot there. So, and exercise and stuff has always been huge in my life for forever. Probably not as a kid. I shouldn't say for forever, because as a kid, all I remember drinking was Mountain Dew, and I don't think that is healthy. I actually don't know how I'm alive right now. I literally, that's all I drink. But there were some interesting things that came out of that I kind of really changed my views on what I thought I was doing right as far as diet and exercise. So one of the things that stands out is you need to work out to like max effort, short max effort once a week to one, to use your all your muscle systems. So you have basically 3 types of muscle systems: slow twitch, medium twitch, and fast twitch. Most people have only talk about the slow and fast, but there's actually 3. And if you're like an exercise physiologist or a biologist or whatever, I'm probably not 1,000% correct on my descriptions. But what that slow, medium, and fast means is that's your muscle's ability to recover. And most people, including myself, normally only work the slow and medium. So slow is like just moving around, the muscles you need to move around, type, walk, stuff like that. Your medium is, and that's why you can do that stuff all the time, because those muscles are pretty much instantly recovering. Then you have your medium recovery set of muscles, and those are the ones where you're running, you're lifting weights, but you're, even lifting weights hard, but like you lift weights, say you do a set of bicep curls and your muscles get tired and you're like, oh, I can't do another one. You put it down and you wait 2 minutes and you can do more. That's because those muscles have now recovered. The set of muscles that get neglected are the muscles that take basically a week to recover. And those are the muscles that are needed and were used for when you're getting chased by like a lion or whatever. And you need to work those once a week. And that's super important from lots of different like hormonal things, but also those muscles just get neglected. And by doing that, that is one of the biggest things that got me to be able to put on in 4 weeks 8 pounds of muscle and lose 4 pounds of body fat. So that is one. Another one, it's not really a change, something that's different, but learning the importance of recovery. So sleep and just resting your muscles, like that is that was really kind of brought to the forefront of, what I think of as importance to exercise. And it's so important that if you don't have the ability to let your muscles and your body recover, you shouldn't even be exercising, because you're just going to be hurting yourself if you're not doing the recovery. So that was big. And then as far as diet, um, well, there's kind of two things. One that I learned was that there's a certain gene that I have. It's called the APOE gene. I think that's it. APO something. APEO, one of those. Anyways, it's a gene that I have, and my variant of that is a 4. And if you have this 4 variant like I do, it means that your body doesn't like process fat through your system like normal people without this gene variant do. So I have to cut down on my saturated fats. I need to kind of be more cognizant of my diet and not have such a high fat diet. And we talked about this during that last hangout. I'm still extra virgin olive oil is still king. You still need fats, but just if you have this variant, you need to kind of monitor that amount. And then the other thing with diet and exercise kind of combined was the need to actually take in carbohydrates before you work out, especially before you're doing like that super hard once a week workout, because you're not going to be able to perform as hard and work as hard as you can if you don't have instant glucose running through your blood at the time you're working out. So I used to, for years, I would work out in a fasted state, which can be good sometimes. But if you want to push yourself hard, you definitely need glucose in your system. So I don't know. Those were a few big things that stood out to me. There's a ton more. I actually talked to MJ on my team about putting together a course on kind of all the stuff that I learned. So I'm pretty excited about doing that. So I think I answered that question. There's Hutch, we got a few live Q&A questions here that I'm going to go through. So the first one, Frederick. Hi, Chris, this is Fred. Oh, it's not Frederick. How do you position your feet hips when shooting shotgun compared to shooting carbine pistol? So Fred, the way you position your feet and your hips for shooting anything should be the same. You want the same fighting stance. You want to make sure you have your natural point of aim towards your target or your target array, whatever your field of fire is going to be, so you can, address whatever targets you need to shoot in that. So yeah, the position isn't going to change at all for your feet and hips with a shotgun, unless you're like doing a what's the Terminator movie? It's Terminator. What's the Terminator movie? But where he's if you're riding a motorcycle and shooting from the hip, then your feet are going to be a little different. Frank, where do you feel is the best position to put a light on an AR platform? So this is a good question, Frank. So we haven't talked about it in a while. Should I go? Let me go grab my setup real quick and I'll show you. Talk quietly amongst yourselves. Alrighty. So here we go. Make sure. So this is my setup for my AR. As you can see from the tip, this is an airsoft gun. It is a training gun, very expensive. Thanks to my friends and sponsors at evic.com. I used to always think they were called, I don't even remember what I used to call them, Evike, I think. But until I met them and they started saying Evic. So anyways, this is like a gun that when I first saw it at the SHOT Show and I picked it up and I was like, oh, this, nice. Where's the airsoft guns? They're like, oh, you're holding one. It didn't have the orange tip, but it's full weight. Everything works the same. With that said, you asked about light. This is where I have my light set up. So with any accessory on your carbine, what you want to do is take everything off, get into whatever your best, most solid shooting position is, okay? And then take and look, where are my hands not? And that's where you're going to put, your light. So I don't need to have my hand over here. So I put my light here, and then I have a little pressure switch over here that I can use to turn the light on and off because my thumb's right there. So do that with all your accessories. You can put as much stuff on the gun as you want, but what most people do is they will go, oh, I got this cool laser or flamethrower or whatever it is, and they put it on their gun, and then they're like, oh, how do I hold the gun? I can't shoot well. So you've got to have a solid shooting position and then put your accessories, in your case, your light, wherever your hands are not. And then also with the light, if you want to be able to control it, turn it on and off, depending on how you're going to be using it. Like mine is set up for like a tactical scenario where there's times I want the light on, there's times I don't want the light on. So I want to be able to easily do that with my thumb. Next up, Mike, what's up, brother? Was there a book used to highlight the various exercises used at VHP? You're very close. You had the right number of letters and you started with a V. Virginia High Performance. You were calling it Virginia Beach High, which is high school there, probably. Anyways, no, there was not a book of exercises. I did get access to, they have like for alumni of there, I was given a workout plan, and in that plan they have links to private videos where they're demonstrating the exercises. And yeah, so like as far as a book, it's just super interesting. It's actually like they took the new rules process and applied it to working out because it's very specific in what they do, the exercises they do. And there was literally times where I would be doing an exercise, like say I was doing a squat and my trainer, she could tell that my hips were, not aligned or something. And she would stop me instantly because you don't want to repeat bad practice. And she'd go, okay, let's go do this exercise because it looks like your left glute is not firing. And I'm like, okay. And then, we'd get this band and doing these weird things. And she's, like watching how my muscles were working and adjusting the exercise and basically like making up an exercise, however, to get my muscles to work and fire the way they're supposed to. And like for me, for instance, there was a lot of stuff that she had to do because of me missing 2/3 of my right hamstring, which causes all kinds of problems up and down my chain. So there's those kind of adjustments. But I think where you're going with this is I do have up here and in the stuff they sent me some great exercises that I'll be able to share with you guys. And we got one more, Hutch. Hold on. John, no, that is not the correct spelling for Evike. Evike, I think. Evike. If you type in online airsoft something superstore, you'll get it. They've also got a guy that does some pretty funny videos for them too. All right, that's all the live ones I got. Hutch, what's next?
So did any of the was it a lot of the trainers down there that were focused on your glutes, or just one of your glutes?
Yeah, so basically when I'd come in every morning for my first workout, everybody would be checking out my glutes. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if you called them and said, you got to check out this guy's glutes. He must work out.
No, I sent a short video of you during a dive operation where you were doing some training, and where you showed your glutes. So I sent them that. I don't know if you remember that video, but that's hilarious.
Oh, I remember it.
Okay, so the next question is from James. How can I practice shooting a pistol from a car? Now, first of all, I would recommend having your friend drive. But beyond that, I would leave it to you.
Yeah, so shooting from a car, some things to consider are, first off, where are you going to be? And I'm just going with, actually, I'm going against what you said, Hutch, and having somebody else drive. I'm guessing this is you're driving in your car and you need to shoot something. First off, I will tell you, shooting from a moving vehicle is very difficult, and I don't care who you are. So stopping, I'm going to assume you're stopped too. So think about where you are going to have your firearm before all this happens. So plan it out. Are you going to keep it wherever you have it holstered, on your hip, which is not a good choice? You got a seatbelt on. If you are going to have a seatbelt on, that has to be part of your practice and your planning is, okay, I need to shoot. So my first movement isn't towards my gun to get my primary grip on the firearm. My first movement is going to be to release my seatbelt so I can then do the second move to get to your firearm. But plan it out. I have a case where I can, it's a locked case. So I can take that case, put it in my man van, and then I have easy access to it where it's a cool little case that's locked up, but I unlock it and the gun comes up, ready to go. Whoop. So that's number one, is where are you going to have it? There's all kinds of different cool places you could potentially just put in a spare holster somewhere mounted in your vehicle, in between your seats, however you do it. So plan that and then practice it. This is one of the great reasons for having blue guns, is because you can now sit in your driveway or in the street or whatever and practice getting to your firearm, rolling down your window. That's something else you need to plan for. Like I know in the movies, they always like to shoot out the windshield first. I don't think that's a great option. It's going to waste a lot of time. So plan on, that's part of your planning. That's part of your practicing that you're going to need to do. Is it, okay, seatbelt, and then this hand's going for the firearm, this one's rolling down the window, whatever it is. And then practice this new body position that you're going to now be in, and the angle that you're going to have to be shooting in, maybe is it out of this window? Could be the passenger side window. Hopefully you don't have the old roll down windows that you got to reach over and roll that down. I probably would shoot the window out over there then. But practice that, sit, and go, okay, how can I get on my sights? You still want to be able to get on your sights. And this is where I've talked about before how, yes, normally I want to be in, this perfect shooting position with my arms locked out, but you're not going to be able to do that in a car. So now you're going to have to get into at least some type of Weaver stance, if not the, what is it, John Wick style, what's that, car? Is it called the car? Shooting system? Combat action somebody knows what that is. I know we've talked about it a few times before.
Yeah, I know it has come up. Yeah,
it's this one. Combat action release. Somebody knows what it is. But anyways, whatever it is, it's not going to be here. So now you are going to have to start adjusting, and you're going to have to start figuring out, how am I going to shoot here, or how am I going to shoot over here? Maybe your best option is one-handed. Maybe it's one-handed over here. But the first thing is, again, how am I going to get set up to shoot? How am I going to be able to get on my sights so I can shoot accurately? Maybe it's going to be, left-handed or, off-handed, whatever you want. But figuring that out. Now, with knowing that, you can go to the range, live fire, and you can practice that position. So, and the best thing to do would be if you can bring a chair to the range and, sit in your chair and go, okay, this is how I need to shoot, and practice shooting like that. So you can practice all the movements in your vehicle, and then practice live fire in that position, preferably in a chair, to replicate your body position however you're going to shoot. All right, we got some live ones. We got a long one. Isn't there some type of penalty for a question being too long?
I think if it's a multiple part question is a penalty, but this looks like it's just one question, just really long.
Okay, because I thought the character limit, if you went over it, like, you don't get invited to last year's ping pong tournament.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that rule. That is very true.
Yeah. So, Jerry, you got to watch yourself. We'll see. We'll determine if you are not going to be invited to last year's ping pong tournament. On the topic of workouts, when working out in my 20s and 30s and active duty Navy aviator, thank you for your service, Jerry. My typical warm up was 5 minutes. Now in the 60 plus group, I find my warm up time approximately 20 to 25 minutes to loosen up the muscle groups, joints, and such. Would you share what your warm up techniques recommended as we get older? P.S. I submitted a similar question when I registered for this seminar, so it may be redundant. I hate to admit it, but there was very few questions, fewer than normal. So I think there's something wrong with my system, and I'm gonna have to look at it again. My super awesome question submitting form may not be as awesome as I have once thought. So I am going to look into that. And I think I might have found out what it is. There was a setting in there that said you can only submit one question. Like, each person can only submit one question. So I think if maybe you submitted a question for like any previous Hangout, that it may not have gone through, but I don't know. I'll figure it out. But thank you for submitting this again. To your question, warm-up techniques. So what I learned during my training time in December was warming up should be specific to the muscle groups that you plan on using, and they should be focused on the smaller stabilizing muscles that you're going to are going to be stabilizing the larger muscles that you're going to be using. So for instance, on a day where we're working lower body and legs, we have these bands. They're kind of like rubber bands, big rubber bands, but they're cloth and they've got rubber in them. So they're stretchy. They're really hard to move, but you put them around your legs and you do side steps to start activating those glutes, because it's all about glutes, right, Hutch? And doing that and doing just small muscles. I actually started working out with neighbor Matt, and we were doing upper body. So one of the things was putting smaller rubber bands, like I think TheraBand is a brand, but they're just a loop of rubber about this big, and you put it around your arms, and then just do little circular movements up and down the wall. And this is, working all those little stabilizing muscles. So when you go to do bigger movements with your shoulders, those stabilizing muscles are already activated, and they're going to allow you to, that's going to warm you up, but it's also going to allow you to move more weight and move it more safely. So you don't end up, like it used to happen to me all the time. Usually when like a good looking woman would walk by in the gym, and I was doing like an overhead press, and then I'd turn my head, and then, oh, my neck goes up. So that's what I would do. I understand what you're saying about taking longer time as you get older. I am actually graduating tomorrow, graduating to 51. Crazy. I don't even feel old enough to have kids. And I've got a 17-year-old now he's also like a foot taller than me. Anyways, hopefully that helped you. Ted, sorry I posted this mistakenly on chat, but we'll repost it in question. Chris, to the best of your knowledge, is there a less intrusive way of finding out one's APEO gene without using something like 23andMe? I am not thrilled with the idea of my data being collected on that platform. Without a gene test, there is no way to know if you have the gene. Or what you have that gene. Everybody has that gene. It's what version of that gene. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 is the problematic one. And then you also have 2. You have 1 from each parent. So I was passed down 1. So I'm not, if I had both of them, it would be really not good. But also something to realize when you're talking about genes is just because you have this gene or any other gene, like there's genes that make you predisposed to diabetes or all kinds of different things, it doesn't mean that that's going to happen. So if you have APO4 like me or me, maybe fat doesn't affect me. I really don't think fat does affect me. I seem to do better on a higher fat diet, but I also have high cholesterol, not crazy high, but it's above 200. But I don't know, like everything else feels right. So it just because you have a gene doesn't make it so. It just makes it something to think about. So take that into account. Like looking at my 23andMe report, it says I'm likely to have curly hair. There's all kinds of stuff in there that it says is likely, but it's just not so. But if you are concerned about it, if you do, I'd say if you do have high like cholesterol, and you're concerned about it and you don't want to get a gene test, just try a lower fat diet, especially lower in saturated fats. And if it gets better, then it doesn't matter what your gene is, you're getting healthier. So hopefully that makes sense. I understand what you mean about not wanting all your DNA spread around and collected, but yeah, what can you do? What can you do? I've actually sent my DNA to like 5 different companies to get it all tested in a bunch of different ways. So I'm probably cloned in China by now.
Great, an army of you running around in China.
Just my glutes. They just wanted to clone my glutes.
So it's called center axis relock, is what that is. Mark Farrell in the chat just threw that up.
Thank you, Mark. Woo.
It's just a data thing. Tim hates it.
John Wick. Okay. All right. John, I've started practicing meditation on your recommendation. Thank you. You're welcome. Do you have any tips on focusing on breathing and pushing other thoughts aside? I also submitted this question at registration. All right. So thank you again for letting me know that, John. We're going to get that fixed. Maybe I just got to go back to the old system. The fancy system may not be working. Go back to the basics. I'll have it figured out by the next one. So tips on focusing on breathing. So the first thing when it comes to meditation is if you are not breathing properly, then trying to meditate, like close your eyes and meditate traditional, is going to be very hard. So I would say work on breathing first. And literally when I am having problems like getting into meditative state and I've got thoughts rushing, and by the way, we all have thoughts rushing through our heads when we meditate. If you don't have thoughts rushing through your head, go see a doctor because something's wrong with you. So I will sometimes literally say to myself, quietly to myself, I'm breathing in and I'm breathing out. I'm breathing in, I'm breathing out. And I know, it's like when you hear it, it's like, well, now you're saying stuff inside your head. Well, that's fine because you're choosing to focus on that thought rather than, oh, I got to go get my car fixed. I got to do this. I got to do that. So that would be some things to do. Make sure you're breathing properly. Proper breathing should be in and out through your nose. Normally, you want your belly to expand, not your accessory muscles. The perfect breath length, I've heard, is like 5.5 seconds. So there's different breathing apps you can get. There's different breathing techniques you can use. There's box breathing. Breathe in for 4, hold for 4, breathe out for 4, hold for 4. Keep doing that. It really doesn't matter too much what type of breathing you're doing. One type of breathing that is kind of doesn't seem like it would be meditative is Wim Hof breathing. So that is basically when you're just breathing in and out really fast, like 30 times. And then on your last exhale, you hold your breath for as long as you can. And then you inhale and hold your breath for 15 seconds. Do like 3 sets of that. But that can actually get you into a very meditative state very quickly. So, yeah. And then I guess my final thought on like pushing thoughts aside, don't worry about the thoughts. Acknowledge the thoughts and be like, hey there, thought, what's up? and then just kind of let it go. You know, it's kind of like if you're sitting on a park bench and you're watching cars drive by, like if you think like those are your thoughts always going by, the cars are always going to be going by, and you can look at a car and go, oh, that's a pretty cool car. What's that, a Lamborghini? All right, nice. But there's like, say there's like a beautiful flower, you're in a park, you're on a bench, there's like a beautiful flower right in front of you, cars behind you. You're choosing, you know, to either look at the whole scene or focus on the flower and go, oh, such a beautiful flower. Oh, wow. And, you know, a Lamborghini goes by, you're gonna be like, oh, wow, Lamborghini, cool. But this flower is so cool. Oh, I'm just gonna focus on that. You know, and that flower, you know, that's your breath. All right, Dennis. Not sure if you covered this in previous Hangouts, but do you practice any yoga? Do you feel it helps with shooting and moving? I've done it for years and feel like it's easier for me to bend around barriers and get into various shooting positions without pain. I do yoga. I am a yogi. I actually have a yoga mat right there, right in front of this little table that I will throughout the day do a couple poses on that. And I've been doing yoga for years. I do think it's great as far as getting you, and I think I was talking to neighbor Matt about this, and it's about like stretching. So I don't think stretching is good. In fact, the one bad day I had at my training in Virginia was the one day that I stretched, and then my back went out, which my back was doing amazing. Because what happens when you just stretch muscles is you can stretch them past the point that you have the muscle strength to support that position. So for instance, if I want to be able to kick somebody in the head and, you know, do a karate kick whoosh, way up high, like over my head, I can put my foot over my head. If all I did was stretch, like put my legs in little stretching things until I could move my leg that high up, I would have no strength up there. And that's where you start getting injuries. You know, you go to kick and now you don't have the muscle to support that spread with your leg up there, and you go too far and then you pull a muscle. But with yoga, you're using muscle to get into the different positions or hold the different positions. So you're elongating the muscles by using your muscles. And that's one thing too that we did in the training too, was focusing on not just the concentric movements. For instance, like doing a deadlift, we would also do concentric movements where, I don't even know how to describe some of these exercises we did, but you would, you'd be in like a sumo stance holding a dumbbell in like the lowered position, and all you would do is move your hips up and down. So you're elongating your hamstrings in the process rather than just contracting them. So using the different muscles. And I think yoga does that very well. And final note, just like anything else in life and in shooting, if you're doing something like you're doing yoga and it works for you, then, you know, it doesn't matter what I say or what anybody else says. If it works for you, keep doing it. All right.
One thought that I had during that meditation question, even when you do lose focus and kind of go out a little bit, coming back in is, or recovering is the act of learning to meditate, right? I mean, losing focus and then bringing yourself back is, I mean, that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. It helps flex that meditating muscle a little bit.
Yeah, that's a great point. And we've talked about this before. It'd be like, you know, working out without weights, or, you know, whatever. It's the weights on the bar that make it hard that build muscle. So great point. It's the same thing with meditation. It is recovering it is having those thoughts, acknowledging it and going, shoot, nope, this is where I'm getting back to. Great point.
Okay, so Kelly writes, I missed the short videos you were doing. I found them very insightful and inspiring. Any chance you can start doing them again?
Yes, that was part of my 2020 down slump where I turned off the camera, but I'm going to turn it back on, and I will. You know what? I'll do one today. I'm going to have one posted in the team room today.
There you go.
Let me make sure I write a note.
I actually have the same thing on my list today to film a video.
Film or post?
Just film.
Because I'm doing both.
Yeah, I posted one the other day.
All right.
Okay.
It's done.
Done.
If the team wants it, I do it.
All right. So Lenny writes in, hey, Chris, hope you have a great new year. I've learned so much from you, not just in shooting, but in life. How are your boys doing?
Well, thank you for asking, and thank you. I'm glad, always glad to help. The boys are doing great. Yeah, they both just had birthdays. One was in December. I have a new 15-year-old, and the other was 5 days ago, and he is my 17-year-old. They're doing great in school. Their mother is a teacher, so she's able to help them out, with their schoolwork. They've got their own little setups in their rooms with computers to do their classwork. Definitely better students than I was at their age. And it's kind of fun now because I can start telling them the truth about what a terrible kid I was. But yeah, they're doing great. The Caden, my 17-year-old, is amazing in volleyball, and I think his club team just started practicing again. So it's been kind of tough with sports with them, but they're doing good. Yeah, no issues. Actually, I went and played volleyball with Caden, some of his friends and their dads down on South Mission Beach, some beach ball. Haven't played in a while, so obviously always great to, one, play volleyball, my favorite sport to play, and two, to play with your sons, bonus. And we had a lot of fun. I could hardly move for a couple of days afterwards. Because my mind forgets that my body is about to be 51. And so I was still making all these crazy, moves to save balls and stuff. But anyways, well worth it. Thank you for asking. And OPC says, happy birthday, Chris. Thank you. Birthday's tomorrow.
Any big plans?
Nope, no plans. What I started asking for recently for gifts from my family, from my sons and my wife, is I don't ever want any physical gifts ever again. I want hugs. I want to be asked to do things fun together, play a game. I want to be asked questions about life, like that type of stuff. Go on vacation somewhere, like that's what I want for a gift, is say, hey, Dad, take me, I want to go to vacation to Fiji. And I'd be like, all right, let's do it. Because I don't need any physical gifts. Reason being is, as soon as I want something, I just instantly buy it. So it probably isn't good financially speaking, but I like that. I'm going to buy it.
I'm totally the same way. To a fault, actually. Okay, so Frederick, I believe Fred writes in, I'm interested in becoming a coach. I was curious to ask the status of the project. Also, I wanted to offer my assistance in developing some kind of level 1 coaching program as a project manager. That's a
All
good
right.
question.
So that was actually an email sent in to me. It was a bit longer, but I saved this one for you, Hutch, because I know you wanted to talk about what is going on with the whole coaching course, the program, and you can get into his question as well as other people who have asked and want to know, like, hey, I want to be a coach. You know, how can I help out? What do I do? How do I get started? Hutch, go.
Well, first of all, first thing that I would recommend is kind of start being the coach that you want to be. So fire up in the team room, start some conversations going. Coaches are active, so it'd be good to see some action out there. And those people that are being active may or may not get picked to be the guinea pig for the coaching course. So there's that. But I don't know if you can see this here. Look at that. See that? That's right. Hard copy of the actual manifesto for the coach's course. I am working diligently on that. The testing for the overall course is almost done. I'm working on quiz-based work now, and still need to do some video filming and then just kind of pull everything together. So I'm hoping that by the end of Q2, we should be able to roll this out to some folks and get some testing done. So this is coming, ready or not. I know that I've been kind of dragging my feet, but for
Blame it on 2020.
oof, yeah, it's totally COVID. I believe it on COVID. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's coming, guys. It's coming. So yeah, it's keep an eye out. Like I said, get active, do some stuff. That's kind of how I got into it. It was a call to action where Chris was like, "Hey, I need help." So I stepped up, and the How to Shoot Like a Navy SEAL quiz was born, and it's just been up from there. So by all means, hop in there. Don't be afraid. Don't be shy. We're all nice people, and if anybody starts acting foolish, I'll take care of them. And also check out the coaches cage if you want to see kind of what else coaches are up to. Coach Matt and I are throwing some videos in there. So yeah, any questions also, give me a holler. Available. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited to get this out and get some people coachified.
Cool. Yeah. So just to reiterate what Hutch was saying, you know, he got started as a coach because the other coaches, it was literally me looking in the team room and going, oh wow, this person's really helping out a lot of people. You know, he wants, like, you know, I saw it was like, oh wow, he wants to help. And then I was like, hey, do you want to be, you know, become a coach? Or I don't know if I asked you or if I think the first thing I remember is like you started sending me questions and you'd be like, hey, I want to answer this question, but I want to make sure, you know, I get it right, or, you know, something like that. But, you know, either way, it's like an organic process that it works out. So yeah, get in there and just, you know, start helping people out, because that's what a coach is and does. And then just so you know, with Hutch putting this course together, I am putting him through, like, this is part of his process to become an instructor. So I'm guessing, I don't know who else could come before Hutch as the first new rules instructor, but that's what I foresee in the future. So, you know, part of being an instructor is kind of the next level, putting together training and organizing it and stuff like that. So anyways, would be great to get more coaches going. And like you said, it's coming soon. Mike, gifts. I called it making memories with the family, far more important than any merchandise. That is perfect. I like that. Memories with the family. What do you want for a gift? I want some memories with the family. And you know, that's it's a good way of putting it, because I just took our archive of family photos and videos and uploaded it to Google. So it's all saved. And in the process, I was, you know, looking at these videos, and the one specifically was because we just went snowboarding with me and the boys a couple weeks ago. It was New Year's Eve day, the 31st. I went snowboarding up at Mountain High, had an awesome time. But anyways, my 15-year-old had asked something about when the first time, like how he did the first time we went snowboarding. He didn't remember. So luckily, I had a GoPro on for that whole day. So I was showing him that video. So it's pretty funny. It's actually super funny too. If you have kids that are older, like listening to their voice, like their voice from when they're kids, like you can't even, like, if you were to just listen, I'm like, whose kid is that? Is that like one of the neighbor kids? You know, who is that? It's like, oh, that's my boy. So pretty awesome watching them grow and hit puberty and voice change and start stinking.
Grow taller than you.
Yeah. Well, my 15-year-old, I think he's an inch shorter than me. So he's about to surpass me.
Crazy. All right. So next question. Tim writes in, I lost my data on the app. How can I get it back?
All right, Tim. So with the app, if you don't know, the app people, my app people, made a completely new version of the app. And if you've noticed, there's a lot of awesome new features in that app. So I think it's worth it. One of the downsides is that all your streak data, your course completion data, all this stuff has been deleted because it's moved to a new app. But if you are a member of the New Rules team, which you are because you submitted a question and I'm got it, what you can do is contact my support team. So go to whatever it is. I don't know what it is. It's like Chris Sajnog /support or whatever. You know, you should know where to find support. Just yell out for help. But contact them. Let them know you're on the team. Let them know your name on the app, like your username on the app. And what they can do is they can go in and manually restart your streak. So if you were on like a 300-day streak where you're on the app every day, they can put that back on. What they can't do is if you finished one of the courses, we do not have the ability to go back and say, oh, you finished this course. The good part is you go through the course again, you learn it all again, you get credit again for doing the course. So that's like a bonus.
It's a freebie.
Yeah, so that is only available. So I know we are live on YouTube. That app has 14,000 users right now, which is ridiculous amount of users, which is awesome. I actually posted something on there yesterday, and I hadn't posted on in a while, and I'm like, oh, I posted one of those short videos that I did. See how it all comes together? So I posted one of those short videos, and within 2 minutes, there was like 40 comments. There was 20 likes. There was a couple shares. I was like, whoa. So yeah, it's super cool. So anyways, that contacting support, that's only if you are on the New Rules team. If you're a team member, if you're not, and you're watching this on YouTube, go to chrissajnog.com and sign up, become part of the team, and then you can get your streak restored. And of course, be able to ask me questions on here and get to know Hutch.
And my awesome beard.
You do have an awesome beard.
Actually, it's getting a little bit out of control.
You know, I haven't had an awesome beard in a couple of years.
You should do it.
Remember a couple of years ago when I'd be like, ah.
It was huge. There's like little squirrels and stuff living in it. All right.
That's what she said, but I said that's what Hutch said. Get it?
All right.
Hold on, I got a live one.
A live one.
What if you can't log into the app no matter what you do? I sent in my phone number. I even tried resetting my password. No dice. Again, contact support. I remember there was some weird thing, and I know we sent out instructions on some certain way you're supposed to log in. I remember reading that email, and even I was confused. But contact support. My support guys will take care of it. Because I don't even know. Like I guess it's good that I have other people taking care of this stuff, but because that's what I do. If I were not able to log in, I would have to contact my own support people.
All right. Next question. We are at 342, sir. Next question is from Mike. Do you have a medical kit you recommend? Something you can take with you?
Yes. So interestingly enough, I have a new sponsor. It is LAPG.
LA Police.
And they just sent me this awesome little blowout kit. So since they're a sponsor, I have to recommend them. But there's other ones like this. And I think I've shown them before. So this is like kind of a little bigger blowout kit. And this would be something that you can keep in your car. If you have a man bag like I do, you can keep it in there. You know, if you're going in the field, it's got little belt loops. You put it on there. If you've got kit, you could put it, you know, somewhere on your kit, because it's got molly straps. But the key is making sure you have new Velcro. You have basically the essentials. So like I'm saying, you don't have to like go, oh, I have to have this kit. Although this one is put really well together. Obviously, because I'm sure you on the team know that I do not take sponsors who I don't like their stuff. Comes with instructions for use. Okay, but like, so what's important in here? And it's all still wrapped up, but a tourniquet is probably the number one thing that even if you don't have a med kit, you don't have anything, start off with a tourniquet. A knife is super important as far as medical gear. So say you don't have anything with you, not even a tourniquet, no bandages. Well, if you have a knife, you can make a tourniquet pretty easily as long as somebody around you is wearing clothing. You cut it up, you make bandages, you make tourniquets, you make whatever you want. There's rigger's tape in here. That is a great tool to utilize in the field. And there's some rolled gauze. Rolled gauze is good for packing holes. So you got a bullet hole. Oh no, bullet hole. And you take the gauze and you shove it in and pack that hole. If it's on the chest, front, back, abdomen area, torso, you're going to put a chest seal on there. So that is something else that's in here, is a chest seal. And quick clot is a good one. Some type of quick clot, to even if it's a quick clot bandage where it's impregnated with quick clot, that's good too. But anyway, so this is one. something like this would be good. And again, this is my new sponsor, LAPG, LA Police Gear.
Is that something that you're going to be selling on your site, Chris, or?
No, but the Smart Med video series that I'm doing.
Yes.
I am going to be releasing the first one, I think, this Friday. And then the next one where I talk about stopping bleeding, I am going to be introducing this med pack as the video sponsor. And it's going to include, they gave me, so what they did for me, like the way I like to get sponsored is to get good deals for my team, you guys. And so they gave me a discount code.
Very cool. Very cool.
So I will get that to you guys on the team. Just like if you don't know, inside the your members area, there's a whole section of members discounts. So I'll also be adding that discount code to there.
That's awesome. That's a question that comes up quite often.
Yeah. Which style of tourniquet do you prefer? Cat, rat, which has a good leverage system, metal, winch? So I like the cat tourniquet, and I like metal as far as the windlass system, because some of the plastics, and they may have fixed it by now, but I remember when I was doing winter warfare, the plastic, I just said it, windlass, little stick, that plastic would actually break from being too cold. So
I think the newer generation cats took care of that. They have a more robust, it's like a thicker, heavier windlass. And cats are actually, I think, the only ones that have ever been tested with ultrasound to prove total blood occlusion. So I would definitely agree with the cat's choice on that one for sure.
Nice. So you got a double recommendation for the cat there.
Boom.
And Dennis, what's this man bag you carry? All right, you asked for it. I am going to go get it. It's never been shown before. It's going to happen live.
I've actually seen the man bag in person. I actually went all the way to San Diego to see the man bag. Very manly.
Dun, dun, dun. There it is. It's even got a little trident on it right there, so I know it's mine. So I can show off. It's got my contact information in it right here, so it doesn't get stolen. But this is it. It is a Maxpedition, and they are not one of my sponsors. They should be. But it's called like a tactical, I think, a tactical attaché. But it's cool. It's got pockets. There's like a Velcro thing in here. I may or may not have a big ass pipe in here. Some knives. Look at handmade. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah. That thing's sharp right there. So yeah, so like this, that med bag can go like right here. It fit right nicely in there. I do have this one. So this is from who's those guys?
ITS.
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 Yeah, ITS. Thank you. So this is a cool one. It's much smaller. It's got a rubber like tube tourniquet in it. I forget what they're called, but it's just like a piece of rubber that you keep wrapping around. Maybe not the best one, but yeah, that's it. I always have some water in here. My keys are always in the same place. I never lose them because they're there. And I don't know. That's it. That's my man bag. Whoa. Oh, and when I carry it, I'll tell you what, I had shoulder problems for a long time. My right shoulder, because I used to do this, but now I carry it like that. Ah, much better. So not just seeing the man bag, but understanding how to use it and carry it. All right. Dude, nice. Looking to dial in a bag for myself, and I like that one. Cool. What are your thoughts on the Israeli bandage in your med kit? So if the Israeli bandage is the one I'm thinking of, it's the one that's got a little clip on one side, and it's used as a compression bandage. So you go around and then you use that little clip thing to like clip into and put pressure on top. I don't know if that's kind of like a personal preference thing if you like them. Yeah, I never really liked them. I've carried them before. I've used them before. I'm just, maybe it's because I'm a medic is one of my trades, and I know how to get compression, how to get pressure on top of an injury without this crazy system. So, but if you like it, just like anything else, if it works for you, then use it.
I've read a lot of stuff on, well, I shouldn't say a lot, but a few things on that loop back process where people under stress will just bust them right out. They'll loop it through there and then crank on it, and then those things just break. So they're not really made as like a blood occlusion device. They're made to just add a little bit of pressure on the wound itself. But North American Rescue makes like bandages that are similar to that in different sizes that they make them that they're packed flat that you can fit them in your back pocket. But as far as the Israeli bandage goes, I would say that they're better than nothing. Yeah. But like with anything, train with it and learn it the right way.
Yeah, that's a great point, and thanks for bringing it up. Is if you buy a medical kit, make sure you separately buy the components of that medical kit that you can practice with, because you don't want to try to save somebody's life and then also at the same time try to figure out how something works, or even how to open some of the packages. Like with my med kit, what I did when I was in the teams was I would sit and like, say for a bandage that comes in a pressure sealed waterproof bag, they can be super hard to open sometimes. So I would cut a little V so it could be torn open. And then I would take rigger's tape and put little flaps on it, so I had something to grab onto. So I'd have this system where I could just go, okay, here it is, it's open.
Yeah, another thing too is that you don't realize if you don't actually train with it. I know a lot of them, you crack open the outer shell and there's another package inside. So you got to kind of think that through. Do you even want that outer package? You could break it down, just have that. Like I know the old GI combat dressings are double packed. And you can kind of tell the guys that know what they're doing because they don't have that outer package. It just has the paper and they just bust it open and deploy it. But yeah, make sure you're trying stuff out. That's for sure. I want to get a surprise.
All right, and that just made me think of this too, because you mentioned the old bandages, is they can expire. So bandages can expire, and some of those old ones, you'll go to use them and you like pull them open and it literally tears in half.
It falls all apart.
So make sure,
all
just
right.
like spices for cooking, that you rotate out old bandages.
Are you talking about your mom's like 300-year-old cumin or whatever it was that you found at her house?
All of her spices, man. They were the spices from my childhood. 40 years old. They could literally be in the Smithsonian.
Yeah.
But yeah, spices lose their flavor. I write dates when I open a spice, on them.
Yeah, that's funny. All right. So next question is from Lucy. So sorry for what Amazon did to your books, Chris. So what is the status with that?
Yeah, so those of you that don't know, maybe if probably those on YouTube, I don't know if you're watching there, but Amazon started sending me back in September of last year my workbooks, the pride and joy of the new rules of marksmanship, my training system. So it's a system within Amazon. It's called Amazon Advantage, and what happens is Amazon orders books for me and then sells them basically like kind of on consignment or whatever. So once they sell them, they send me a portion of the money. Well, once I posted a video with my political views on YouTube, Amazon started sending me back damaged books, hundreds and hundreds of damaged books. Some of them had some type of chemical smeared on the cover. So it was like they're purposely damaging these books. Luckily, they finally stopped. I submitted like pictures of all the damaged boxes, all the damage to the books, and they owe me like tens of thousands of dollars for that, and they have yet to pay for it. So one thing I'm doing, if you haven't ordered a copy of it, if you want a copy, what I am offering is I can't sell these books because I'm still hoping that Amazon will do the right thing and pay me. So I can't sell them, but I can give them away. So I'm giving them away a free copy of my New Rules of Marksmanship workbook. And all you have to do is pay $20 for my signature. That's what you're buying, is my signature, because I can sell that. And plus shipping. And hey, with shipping too, for those of you that don't know, I don't get any special shipping rates like Amazon gets, or big sellers get. So whatever rate you see is the rate that I have to pay. I know if you're watching overseas somewhere, anywhere, even in Canada, it costs me, like, even just to Canada, I think it's like $25 to ship to Canada. So I have no control over that. I can tell you that for those of you that order something and you're overseas, I always slip in little extras. I always try to do that for everybody, but try to make it worth your extra investment in shipping. But anyways, order the book, not from Amazon, because some people have done that. They're like, oh, I tried ordering it from Amazon, it didn't work. No, go to my shop, chrissajnog.com/shop, or maybe it's shop.chrissajnog.com, something like that. Find the shop, go find the workbook, use coupon code thanks Amazon, and I will send you a free copy for 20, and I will sign it for $20 plus shipping. So anyways, that's what's going on. They owe me almost $20,000, and every 3 days I get a message from them saying, thanks for your patience. We're still investigating this. So.
Investigating.
Yeah.
With the little air quotes. Okay. I'm sure.
Yeah. So, right. It's, I'm chalking that one up to 2020 and just kind of trying to move on. I have a huge stack of the damaged books over here. And over here, I have the new books that I ordered to sell that I haven't even been able to sell because of this whole debacle. But it's 2021 now. Things are changing.
It's the year of action.
Yeah.
All right, last question. We're only a half hour over. From Unanimous, Mr. Secret Squirrel. I've been dry firing for a few weeks.
Oh yeah, I saw that one.
Unanimous.
I think this person meant anonymous?
Maybe. So the question reads, I've been dry firing for a few weeks and still always shooting low left when I go live. How can I stop this? Thanks for all that you do.
All right. So number one, if you have a shooting error of any sort that you're trying to fix, dry fire, I believe, is the way to fix it. Make sure you're getting the mechanics of everything down without the stress of the gun going bang. But depending on how long you've been shooting, like I don't know, but did this unanimous person say, did he say how long he's been shooting, or just that he's been dry firing for 2 weeks?
Just that he was dry fired for a few weeks.
So like if you have something that you're trying to fix in your shooting and you've been shooting, say, low and left for 30 years, 2 weeks of dry firing is not going to fix it. So like if you're driving down the road the wrong way for an hour and then you're like, oh, I want to be over here, and then you drive back for 20 minutes, you're not going to be there. Right? So it's the same thing with trying to fix shooting problems. No, it won't take 30 years, especially practicing properly. But I don't know your situation, but 2 weeks or a few weeks, whatever, is probably not enough. Most importantly, I will say, in the way you worded that, and our words have meaning when it comes to anything we do in life, including shooting. If you are saying what you said, because I have it in writing, that you always shoot low and left, then when you go to the range and you mentally switch from I'm dry firing and now I'm going to the range where I always shoot low and left, your body, something in your subconscious mind is going to make your body shoot low and left. And that's just a fact of life. So I'm guessing in addition to that you're right-handed, and then there's various things that your body can be doing, or you can be doing, as far as pushing with your trigger finger, milking with your hand, looking up over your sights to bring it down a little bit, all those things added together. But most importantly, I would say change the way you describe how you shoot, and don't say what you always do, because if you say what you always do, you will always do it.
And then if you always say what you're going to do and then you do it, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And then you're like, aha, see that? I was right. And you just settle that even deeper into your brain. So
Yep.
Talk yourself out of it. All right. So that's all I have, boss.
Cool. All right. There's no more questions in the Q&A. I'm cutting that off. And I'm going to say goodbye to our YouTube viewers, if I can figure out how to turn off the YouTube live stream without disconnecting the team, because I am going to be reviewing what I'm giving away this month to team members. So anyways, thank you for watching if you're on YouTube. If you want to have your questions answered by me and occasionally Coach Hutch, occasionally hanging out with neighbor Matt, who's not here, sign up. Go to chrissajnog.com, join the team, get all the benefits. Okay, and it says stop live stream here. So